The Miami sun beat down, a relentless golden hammer on the asphalt, shimmering off the turquoise expanse of the Atlantic. It was April 25th, 2002, a day that began like so many others for Lisa Left Eye Lopes. She was in Honduras, a place of vibrant green and raw earth, a sanctuary she had discovered and poured her heart into, a world away from the gleaming stages and flashing lights of her superstar life. The air was thick with the scent of tropical flowers and something else, something unspoken, a subtle tremor beneath the everyday hum. Lisa, ever restless, ever seeking, had come here to heal, to find answers, to connect with a different kind of rhythm. Her vehicle, a Mitsubishi Montero, glided along the winding road, the engine's soft hum a counterpoint to the laughter and quiet conversation within. She wasn't performing today. There were no cameras, no screaming fans, just the road, the jungle pressing in, and the weight of a life lived intensely, publicly, privately. Her bright, inquisitive eyes, often hidden behind sunglasses or framed by bold makeup on stage, were now clear, focused on the path ahead. The world knew her as Left Eye, the fiery, outspoken third of TLC, the platinum-selling girl group that had redefined R&B. They knew her for the condom over her eye, for the bravado, for the whispered controversies. They saw the public persona, the artist who dared to be different, to speak her mind, to embody an audacious spirit. But behind the moniker, beneath the layers of performance and projection, was Lisa Nicole Lopes, a woman of profound contradictions, immense creativity, and a searching soul. The camera would have lingered on her then, a close-up on her face, revealing the depth of thought etched around her eyes, the faint hint of a smile playing on her lips, a woman perpetually on the brink of discovery. The setting sun cast long shadows, painting the landscape in hues of orange and purple, a beautiful, almost melancholic canvas. The vehicle rounded a bend, the tires gripping the gravel, and then a sudden jarring shift, a silent, sickening lurch that shattered the tranquility. The world outside became a blur, the serene landscape replaced by a terrifying kaleidoscope of green and brown, the sound of tearing metal, shattered glass, and a collective gasp. In that instant, the vibrant tapestry of Lisa's life, rich with fame, struggle, and an unwavering quest for meaning, was irrevocably torn. The immediate aftermath was a chaos of dust and silence, broken only by the whispers of the wind through the trees and the distant chirping of unseen insects. This was not a stage exit. There was no applause, no encore. This was a final, abrupt curtain fall on a life lived with an almost brutal honesty, a life that defied easy categorization, a life that, even in its final moments, was still seeking, still evolving. The enigma of Left Eye, the public rebel, the private seeker, would only deepen from this moment, leaving behind a legacy woven from the threads of triumph, controversy, and a relentless pursuit of her truth. Lisa Nicole Lopes was born on May 27, 1971, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a city etched with history and known for its vibrant, sometimes gritty, urban landscape. Her birth came into a family already navigating its own complex dynamics. Her mother, Wanda Lopes, was a seamstress, a woman of quiet strength and resilience who worked hard to provide for her children. Her father, Ronald Lopes Sr., was a staff sergeant in the U.S. Army, a figure of authority whose presence loomed large, often casting long, complicated shadows over Lisa's early life. Ronald was a talented musician, playing various instruments, and this artistic inheritance undeniably flowed through Lisa's veins. But his discipline was often harsh, his temper volatile, leaving an indelible mark on Lisa and her two younger siblings, Ronald Jr. and Raina. Their household, while financially modest, was never truly quiet. The cacophony of a military upbringing mingled with the creative energy that pulsed through the Lopes home, a blend of strict rules and the unrestrained joy of music. Lisa, even as a small child, exhibited a fierce independence, a spark of rebellion that would define her later years. She possessed an innate charisma, an energy that drew people to her, even then, Her early talents leaned heavily towards performance. She loved to sing, to dance, to command attention. She would often put on shows for her family, mimicking her favorite artists, transforming the living room into her own makeshift stage. There were no grand pronouncements of future stardom, but the seeds were undeniably sown in those early years, amidst the push and pull of a strict father and a supportive mother. The socio-economic environment of their Philadelphia neighborhood was one of working-class struggle, a backdrop that instilled in Lisa a drive, a hunger for something more, a desire to transcend her immediate circumstances. She learned early on the value of hard work, the necessity of perseverance, but she also experienced the tensions that arose from a disciplined home life meeting the raw realities of urban existence. These formative experiences forged a young Lisa who was both resilient and deeply sensitive, a paradoxical combination that would define her public and private personas. Her father's musical inclinations, despite the difficult relationship they shared, undeniably influenced her. He fostered a love for music, a deep appreciation for its power. Even if his methods of instilling discipline were often painful, Lisa was drawn to rhythm, to melody, to the expressive potential of sound. Her entry into the world of music wasn't a sudden epiphany, but a gradual unfolding, a natural progression from childhood performances to a more serious pursuit. The music industry of the late 1980s and early 1990s was undergoing its own transformations, with the rise of new R&B sounds and the burgeoning influence of hip-hop. Lisa, with her unique blend of raw talent and fearless individuality, was perfectly poised to step into this evolving landscape. Her initial hurdles were those of any aspiring artist: finding her voice, connecting with collaborators, navigating the labyrinthine paths of an industry notoriously difficult to break into. But she carried with her the lessons of her youth, the resilience forged in a challenging home, the independent spirit honed by her own will, and an undeniable magnetic stage presence that hinted at the superstar she was destined to become. The path to recognition was not a smooth ascent for Lisa Lopes. It was a winding road, often fraught with obstacles that tested her resolve and refined her fierce spirit. After graduating from high school, Lisa moved to Atlanta, Georgia, a burgeoning hub for R&B and hip-hop, a city pulsating with musical ambition. She arrived with little more than a dream and an audacious confidence. Poverty was a constant companion in those early days. She shared cramped apartments with other aspiring artists, often struggling to make ends meet, stretching meager earnings from odd jobs and small gigs. This period was a crucible, burning away any illusions of an easy path to stardom. It was here, amidst the vibrant but competitive Atlanta music scene, that Lisa's relentless efforts truly began to take shape. She frequented open mic nights, performed wherever she could, honing her craft, developing her unique vocal style, a blend of rapped verses and melodic harmonies that would become her signature. Her distinct look, even then, was evolving, a bold fashion sense that was both rebellious and captivating, hinting at the iconic image she would later cultivate. A pivotal moment arrived when she met Tion Watkins and Rosanda Thomas. The three women, each possessing a unique talent and a powerful stage presence, quickly recognized a potent synergy. They formed a group, initially called Second Nature, later to become TLC. Their early days were a relentless grind of rehearsals, songwriting sessions, and pitching themselves to record labels. Industry gatekeepers were not easily swayed. Many saw their unconventional style as too risky, too different. But Lisa, Tion, and Rosanda shared a collective determination, an unwavering belief in their sound and their vision. They faced the dismissals, the rejections, the constant pressure to conform with a united front. One anecdote from this period vividly illustrates their resilience. After a particularly disheartening meeting with a record executive who dismissed their music as too urban for mainstream appeal, Lisa famously declared, "They're just not ready for us yet, but they will be." Her words, delivered with a mix of frustration and defiant optimism, galvanized the group. They refined their sound, their choreography, their image, pushing boundaries and challenging expectations. Their breakthrough moment arrived when they signed with Lopes Records, a label co-founded by industry heavyweights L.A. Reid and Babyface. Their debut album, Ooh, on the TLC tip, released in 1992, immediately resonated with audiences. Its blend of R&B, hip-hop, and socially conscious lyrics was fresh and invigorating. Lisa, with her distinctive rap verses and bold visual presentation, including the famous condom over her eye, a statement on safe sex, became an instant icon. The public and critical reception was overwhelmingly positive. TLC was praised for their originality, their empowering message, and their vibrant energy. They weren't just another girl group. They were a phenomenon, a force reshaping the landscape of popular music. Their rising fame brought with it a dramatic shift in their personal lives. The financial struggles of their early years evaporated, replaced by the trappings of success: designer clothes, luxurious homes, the ability to provide for their families. Lisa, who had known the sting of poverty, relished the newfound freedom. She was able to support her mother, a deep-seated desire she had held for years. But the intense glare of the spotlight also brought its own set of challenges. Privacy became a luxury they could no longer afford. Every move, every word, every relationship became fodder for tabloids and public scrutiny. The dynamic within the group, once a unified front against the world, began to experience the subtle strains of individual ambitions and the pressures of maintaining a collective image. Despite these growing complexities, Lisa's determination remained unwavering. She continued to push artistic boundaries, infusing TLC's music with her unique vision, always striving for authenticity in a world that often demanded conformity. The impact of their rise to prominence was not merely professional. It profoundly reshaped the very fabric of her existence, propelling her into a realm where the personal and the public were inextricably intertwined, a dramatic turning point from which there was no return. Lisa Lopes's life, especially during her meteoric rise to fame, was a whirlwind of intense romantic entanglements and public scandals that often overshadowed her musical achievements, painting a complex portrait of a woman grappling with fame, passion, and personal demons. Her most significant and widely publicized relationship was with Andre Rison, an NFL wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons. Their romance was a volatile, passionate affair that burned brightly and often spectacularly crashed. It began in the early 1990s at the height of TLC's initial success. They were a celebrity power couple, the fiery, outspoken rap star and the charismatic athlete, both living large, both intensely competitive. The dynamics of their relationship were a constant push and pull, marked by grand romantic gestures one moment and explosive arguments the next. Their relationship, fueled by an almost obsessive intensity, became tabloid fodder. The public was captivated by their dramatic displays of affection and their equally dramatic conflicts. The passion they shared was undeniable, but so too was the underlying tension, the struggle for control, the clash of two strong personalities. The most infamous incident occurred in June 1994. After a particularly heated argument, reportedly over Rison's alleged infidelity, Lisa, in a moment of profound emotional distress and rage, set fire to Rison's mansion, a sprawling, luxurious home she shared with him. The image of the flames engulfing the mansion became an indelible, shocking symbol of her raw, uncontained emotions. The societal context of this entanglement was significant. At the time, female artists, especially those of color, were often held to a different standard, their emotional lives dissected and judged with particular harshness. Hollywood morality clauses, though not directly applicable to her recording contract, still echoed in the public's perception of acceptable behavior for a female celebrity. Lisa's actions were widely condemned, leading to her arrest and a public outcry. She was charged with arson, ultimately receiving 5 years probation, a $10,000 fine, and a mandate for rehabilitation. The incident was a pivotal, dark chapter, one that threatened to derail her burgeoning career and cemented her reputation as unpredictable, even volatile. Yet paradoxically, it also solidified her image as Left Eye, the rebel, the one who lived life on her own terms, consequences be damned. The emotional toll of this relationship and the subsequent scandal was immense. Lisa spoke openly about the cycle of abuse she experienced and perpetuated within the relationship, a pattern she later sought to understand and break. She often expressed remorse for the fire, but also a deep sense of frustration at the media's simplistic portrayal of her actions, which she felt failed to capture the complexity of the emotional pain she was experiencing. "It was a cry for help," she later remarked, her voice tinged with a raw vulnerability rarely seen in public. Despite the turmoil, Lisa and Andre continued an on-again, off-again relationship for several years, a testament to the powerful, almost magnetic bond they shared. Their story became a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the pressures and destructive potential of love in the public eye. Other romantic entanglements existed, but none held the same public fascination or had the same dramatic impact as her relationship with Risson. These relationships often mirrored the intense dynamics of her personality, brief, passionate, and sometimes fraught with challenges. Through it all, Lisa navigated these emotional landscapes with a fierce independence, often seeking solace in spirituality and self-improvement, trying to reconcile the public narrative of a wild, untamed artist with the private woman who longed for stability, understanding, and unconditional love. Her romantic life, with its triumphs and heartbreaks, was as vivid and dramatic as her stage persona, unfolding like a series of intense scenes in a deeply personal, often tumultuous film. The zenith of TLC's career, and by extension Lisa Lopes' public persona, arrived with an almost unstoppable force, transforming them into global icons and cementing their place in music history. Their second album, Crazy Sexy Cool, released in 1994, was not merely a follow-up, it was a cultural phenomenon. It sold over 11 million copies in the US alone, becoming the best-selling album by an American girl group and achieving diamond status. This album showcased TLC's growth with sophisticated R&B melodies, poignant lyrics, and an even more refined blend of hip-hop and soul. Lisa's contributions were integral, her rap verses cutting through the smooth harmonies, providing an edge, a commentary, a raw authenticity that distinguished TLC from their peers. Songs like Creep, Waterfalls, and Red Light Special became anthems, topping charts and dominating airwaves. The music videos were equally iconic, pushing creative boundaries and reflecting a stylish, empowered femininity. The video for Waterfalls, with its profound social commentary and stunning visual effects, became a landmark achievement, earning multiple MTV Video Music Awards. During this period, Lisa's public persona as Left Eye was at its peak. She was the edgy, outspoken, rebellious one, the visual provocateur. Her fashion choices were bold, her statements often unfiltered, her energy electric. She was the group's crazy element, embracing the moniker with a playful defiance. Yet even in her wildness, there was a clear intelligence, a conscious artistry behind her image. She used her platform not just for entertainment, but to address social issues, advocate for safe sex, and champion individuality. She was a magnetic presence, whether on stage, in interviews, or in their groundbreaking music videos. There were vivid scenes of her at work during this time, in the recording studio, meticulously crafting her verses, sometimes taking hours to perfect a single line, driven by an unwavering commitment to her art. On set for music videos, she would collaborate closely with directors, suggesting concepts, improvising movements, her creative energy boundless. During concert tours, she would ignite the stage, her movements fluid and powerful, her eyes commanding the attention of thousands. Fans adored her for her authenticity, for her daring, for her refusal to fit into any neat box. She represented a different kind of female artist, one who was strong, independent, and unafraid to expose her flaws alongside her triumphs. This contrast between the meticulously crafted left-eye persona and the glimpses of the true Lisa Nicole Lopes fascinated the public. She often appeared guarded in interviews, offering snippets of her deeper thoughts, hinting at a spiritual journey and a philosophical mind that transcended the pop star image. Her cultural impact during this peak was immense. TLC, with Lisa as a vital component, redefined the landscape of R&B and pop music for women. They influenced a generation of artists, proving that women could be successful, provocative, and socially conscious without compromising their artistic integrity. They were not just selling records, they were selling an attitude, a lifestyle, a message of empowerment. They represented a blend of unapologetic sexuality, fierce independence, and a genuine concern for social issues, a combination rarely seen with such mainstream success. Lisa, with her unique lyrical flow and captivating stage presence, became a symbol of this new era. She influenced fashion, music, and the way female artists presented themselves. Her impact wasn't just on the charts, it was etched into the cultural fabric, a vivid and enduring testament to her artistry and her audacious spirit. The world watched, captivated, as Left Eye commanded attention, a true icon in her prime, every movement, every word, a testament to her powerful presence. Beyond the vibrant glare of the spotlight and the carefully constructed persona of Left Eye, Lisa Lopes carried a secret personal life, a deep well of inner conflicts and vulnerabilities rarely glimpsed by the adoring public. Away from the clamor of stadiums and the flash of cameras, Lisa was a seeker, a contemplative soul wrestling with profound questions of identity, purpose, and self-worth. The pressures of fame were immense, a relentless force that exacerbated her already complex emotional landscape. She often felt a profound loneliness, a sense of isolation despite being surrounded by millions of fans. The Left Eye image, while powerful, sometimes felt like a cage, a role she had to constantly inhabit, leaving little room for the quieter, more introspective Lisa Nicole Lopes. She struggled with understanding the line between the character and the woman, a battle that fueled her constant search for spiritual enlightenment and personal growth. This internal battle often manifested in visible ways. There were whispers of struggles with alcohol, fleeting moments where the carefully constructed facade cracked, revealing the raw emotional pain beneath. These were not public spectacles, but private battles fought behind closed doors, witnessed only by her closest confidants. The intense scrutiny of fame, coupled with her past traumas, contributed to a deep-seated anxiety, a constant search for peace that often eluded her. Her family dynamics, particularly the complicated relationship with her father, continued to cast a long shadow. Even after his death in 1991, before TLC's massive success, Lisa felt a profound need to reconcile his harsh discipline with the love she knew he possessed. This unresolved grief and a desire for parental approval fueled some of her most poignant self-reflections. She yearned for a deeper understanding of herself, often embarking on spiritual retreats, engaging in intense philosophical discussions, and immersing herself in holistic health practices. These were not mere celebrity fads for Lisa. They were genuine attempts to heal, to find balance, to connect with something larger than herself. She was known to spend hours in meditation or engrossed in books on metaphysics and ancient wisdom. One close friend recalled Lisa saying, "I just want to be free. Free from everything that weighs me down, free to just be me, authentically." This yearning for authenticity was a recurring theme in her private life. She sought solace in a few close private relationships that offered a respite from the performative nature of her public existence. Her bond with her mother, Wanda, deepened over the years, Wanda becoming a quiet anchor in Lisa's turbulent life. Lisa's siblings, Ronald Jr. and Raina, also provided a sense of grounding, a connection to her roots that fame could never erase. She cherished these relationships, often retreating to their company for simple moments of normalcy and unconditional acceptance. There was also a notable relationship with a spiritual mentor in Honduras, a man who guided her through intense detoxification and spiritual practices. These experiences were transformative, leading her to believe in the power of cleansing, both physically and spiritually. She even embraced a raw food diet, seeking purity in every aspect of her life. Her internal monologues, captured in her private journals and often shared with close friends, revealed a woman obsessed with growth, with shedding layers of negativity, with finding an inner peace that eluded her in the chaotic world of celebrity. She would write about her frustrations, her fears, her triumphs, and her constant quest for self-mastery. These hidden aspects of her life, the intense introspection and the relentless pursuit of spiritual understanding, paint a far more complex and vulnerable picture than the bold, left-eye persona suggested. They showed a woman deeply committed to her own evolution, battling internal demons with as much ferocity as she tackled the challenges of the music industry. Her private world was a testament to her enduring spirit, a quiet, powerful testament to her unwavering belief in the possibility of transformation. The years leading to Lisa Lopes's tragic decline and ultimate end were marked by a confluence of evolving career trajectories, personal introspection, and an unyielding pursuit of self-discovery that ultimately led her away from the familiar spotlight. Following the immense success of Crazy Sexy Cool and Fan Mail, 1999, TLC found themselves at a crossroads, navigating creative differences and the natural progression of individual artistic ambitions. Lisa, ever the innovator, felt increasingly drawn to solo projects, eager to explore sounds and messages beyond the group's established framework. Her debut solo album, Supernova, released in 2001, reflected this new direction, showcasing her versatility as an artist, delving deeper into spiritual themes and more experimental sounds. However, the album faced a difficult reception in the US, performing much better internationally. This lukewarm response, while not a catastrophic setback, was a subtle blow, a signal that her artistic evolution wasn't immediately embraced by her home audience, adding another layer to her internal struggles for validation beyond the left-eye persona. Concurrently, her personal journey intensified. The pressures of fame, the relentless media scrutiny, and the unresolved emotional complexities from her past, including her tumultuous relationship with André Risson, continued to weigh heavily. She sought solace and clarity in increasingly spiritual and holistic pursuits. This period saw her spending extended time in Honduras, a country she had fallen in love with during a spiritual retreat. She was drawn to its natural beauty, its slower pace, and the opportunity it offered for profound self-reflection and healing. She became deeply involved with the spiritual community there, embracing alternative healing practices, intense detoxification regimens, and a raw food diet. She was even embarking on a documentary film project, exploring these spiritual journeys and her own efforts at self-healing. This was not a period of decline in spirit or ambition, but rather a redirection of her immense energy. She was still fiercely creative, still driven, but her focus had shifted inward towards a more holistic understanding of life and wellness. She was looking for answers, for peace, for a deeper connection to herself and the world around her, far removed from the glitz and glamour of the music industry. On April 25, 2002, Lisa was in Honduras, driving her Mitsubishi Montero on a winding, narrow road near La Ceiba. She was accompanied by 7 others, including her sister Reina and various members of her production team who were assisting with her documentary. The mood in the vehicle was light, filled with conversation and laughter, as captured on the very video camera she was using to film her experiences. The road itself was known for its challenging curves and unpaved sections. As they rounded a sharp bend, a truck suddenly appeared, heading in the opposite direction. Accounts vary slightly, but in an instant, Lisa swerved to avoid a collision. The Montero lost control, veered off the road, and tumbled violently, rolling multiple times before coming to a stop. The scene that followed was one of immediate chaos and horror. The vehicle was mangled, a twisted wreck of metal and shattered glass. Lisa, who was reportedly leaning out of the passenger window to check her reflection in a mirror just before the impact, was ejected from the vehicle. She sustained severe head injuries and chest trauma. While the other occupants suffered various injuries, some serious, Lisa was the only fatality. The immediate aftermath was a blur of frantic efforts, of desperate calls for help, of the sudden, sickening realization of the tragedy that had unfolded. She was pronounced dead at the scene. There were no dramatic last words, no poignant farewells. Only the shocking, abrupt silence that follows such a violent end. Her death was not a slow deterioration, but a sudden, visceral climax, a tragic punctuation mark on a life lived with such intensity. It was an accident, a cruel twist of fate on a quiet road in a foreign land, far from the stages where she had commanded millions. Her passing, so unexpected and so violent, sent shockwaves across the globe, leaving fans and colleagues in a state of profound disbelief and grief. The vibrant, audacious Left Eye, forever immortalized in her music, was suddenly, tragically, gone. The news of Lisa Lopes' death on April 25, 2002, erupted like a sonic boom, echoing through the entertainment world and sending shockwaves across the globe. Initial reactions were a mix of stunned disbelief and profound sorrow. For many, it felt unreal, almost too dramatic to be true, given the larger-than-life persona of Left Eye. Media outlets scrambled to report the details, each headline a stark confirmation of the unimaginable loss. Tributes began pouring in immediately from fellow artists, industry executives, and most poignantly, from her bandmates, Tion T-Boz Watkins and Rosanda Chili Thomas. Their grief was palpable, a raw public display of loss for their sister, their collaborator, their friend. "We had so many dreams, so many plans," T-Boz reportedly whispered through tears in an early statement, her voice thick with anguish. Lisa's funeral service was held on May 2, 2002, at the New Birth Missionary Baptist Church in Lithonia, Georgia. It was a mournful gathering, a somber testament to the impact she had made. The atmosphere was thick with a collective sense of loss, a palpable sorrow that extended beyond her immediate family and friends. Thousands of fans lined the streets outside the church, holding signs, playing TLC songs, their faces etched with grief. Inside, the service was attended by a constellation of stars from the music industry, close friends, and of course, her grieving family. T-Boz and Chili, draped in black, delivered a tearful eulogy, their voices choked with emotion as they spoke of Lisa's unwavering spirit, her boundless creativity, and her enduring legacy. "She was our sister," Chili said, her voice trembling, "and she will forever be in our hearts." The casket was adorned with a poem written by Lisa herself, titled "The Last Goodbye," a hauntingly prophetic piece of writing that underscored her philosophical nature and her preoccupation with life's fleeting moments. The sight of her closed casket, a symbol of finality, brought many to tears, a stark reminder of the vibrant life extinguished too soon. The media coverage of her passing was extensive, oscillating between respectful tributes to her artistry and sensationalized retellings of her more controversial moments. While some narratives focused on the tragic accident and the loss to the music world, others revisited her past struggles, particularly the Andre Rison mansion fire, framing her life as a series of dramatic peaks and valleys. This dualistic portrayal underscored the public's complex relationship with Lisa, admired for her talent, yet often misunderstood for her unconventional choices. The grief of her family was deeply personal, yet publicly shared. Her mother, Wanda, expressed profound sorrow, acknowledging Lisa's struggles, but emphasizing her daughter's deep heart and relentless quest for truth and healing. Her siblings spoke of the immense void she left, the unique light she brought into their lives. The wider public mourning was expressed through candlelight vigils, online tributes, and a renewed appreciation for TLC's music. Radio stations played their hits on repeat, and fans shared stories of how Lisa's lyrics, her confidence, and her rebellious spirit had inspired them. Her death, sudden and shocking, solidified her place not just as a music icon, but as a complex, vulnerable human being whose life resonated far beyond the confines of celebrity. The atmosphere of loss was a heavy blanket, enveloping everyone who had been touched by her music and her undeniable presence, leaving behind a profound silence where once there had been the vibrant, audacious voice of Left Eye. Lisa. Left Eye Lopes' long-term legacy is a tapestry woven from threads of musical innovation, unapologetic individuality, and a profound, sometimes misunderstood, spiritual quest. Her story profoundly reshaped the music industry, particularly for female artists in R&B and hip-hop. As one-third of TLC, she helped redefine the archetype of the girl group, moving beyond saccharine pop to embrace a raw, socially conscious, and fiercely independent identity. TLC, with Lisa's distinctive rap verses, proved that women could be simultaneously sexy, intelligent, and empoweringly vocal about issues like safe sex, self-respect, and challenging societal norms. This influence reverberated through subsequent generations of artists, many of whom cite TLC, and specifically Left Eye, as a groundbreaking force that cleared a path for more authentic and diverse female voices in music. She contributed to cultural narratives by embodying the radical individual, a Black woman who defied easy categorization, who was unafraid to speak her mind, and who lived life on her own terms, even if those terms were often controversial. Lingering mysteries and prevailing myths continue to surround Left Eye, adding to her enigmatic allure. Her spiritual journey, particularly her deep dive into Honduran mysticism and holistic healing in her final years, has often been sensationalized or misunderstood. Some narratives paint it as a desperate attempt to escape fame, while others see it as an ultimate quest for inner peace. The documentary she was filming in Honduras at the time of her death, titled The Last Days of Left Eye, offered a raw, unvarnished look at her spiritual explorations, revealing a woman deeply committed to self-purification and understanding karmic cycles. This film has helped to correct common misconceptions, showing her not as a troubled celebrity spiraling out of control, but as a vibrant, thoughtful individual embarking on a profound personal odyssey. There are no definitive, unanswered questions about her death, as it was a tragic accident. But the sheer abruptness and the timing, during such a period of deep introspection, lended a poignant, almost faded quality for many fans. Her story continues to resonate because it speaks to universal human experiences, the search for identity, the struggle for authenticity in a public world, the complexities of love and loss, and the relentless pursuit of self-improvement. She was a paradox. The audacious performer who longed for inner peace, the material girl who embraced spiritual austerity, the fiery rebel with a tender heart. These contradictions make her endlessly fascinating. She represented the messy, exhilarating reality of being human, of striving for greatness while grappling with flaws. The profound lessons drawn from her experiences are manifold. Lisa Lopes taught us the importance of embracing individuality, of speaking truth to power, and of never settling for less than one's full potential, even if it means charting an unconventional course. Her life was a testament to resilience, to the capacity for transformation, and to the enduring power of art to express the deepest parts of the human soul. She influenced trends in music, fashion, and even social activism, leaving an indelible mark on popular culture. Her unique blend of artistry and activism set a precedent, proving that a celebrity could be both entertaining and deeply impactful. Her legacy isn't just in the millions of records sold or the iconic music videos, it's in the countless individuals she inspired to be unapologetically themselves, to seek their own truth, and to dare to live authentically, no matter the cost. The Honduran sun, which had witnessed her last earthly breaths, continued its slow descent, painting the sky in fiery hues, much like the vibrant, often tumultuous life of Lisa Nicole Lopes. She arrived on the world stage a whirlwind of energy and unbridled ambition, a fiery spirit wrapped in a distinctive style, her voice a clarion call against conformity. The world knew her as Left Eye, the daring, rhyming rebel of TLC, an icon of empowerment and unapologetic individuality. Yet, beneath the layers of performance and the glittering facade of fame, pulsed the heart of a seeker, a woman grappling with the profound questions of existence, driven by an insatiable hunger for truth and spiritual understanding. Her journey was a dramatic narrative of extremes. The exhilarating highs of global superstardom, the harrowing lows of public scandal, the tender complexities of love, and the quiet, often unseen battles within. She was a canvas of contradictions, a loud, proud voice who yearned for inner silence, a material girl with a deeply ascetic soul. Her flame, though extinguished too soon on that winding road, continues to burn brightly in the annals of music history and beyond. Lisa's legacy is etched not just in the platinum records or the iconic music videos, but in the enduring spirit of artistic courage, the unwavering pursuit of self-discovery, and the powerful message of authenticity she left behind. She taught a generation to embrace their crazy, to embody their sexy, and to live their cool on their own terms. Her life was a vibrant testament to the idea that true artistry springs from a place of genuine self-expression, no matter how unconventional or challenging. The whispers of her name, the echoes of her distinctive rhymes still resonate, reminding us of the profound impact one singular voice can have. What truly defines a life, then, if not the relentless pursuit of its own authentic truth, even when the path is fraught with fire and shadow? And what lessons do we glean from a spirit so audacious, so utterly unique, who dared to live so vividly and left us so suddenly? But the profound understanding that every moment, every breath, every note is a precious, fleeting testament to the wild, beautiful symphony of being.